This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to this edition of Talk Business and Politics. I'm with John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Good to see you on a Monday morning, as always. Here. So thank you for being here. Let's begin with public corruption and what is going on at the state capitol. It continues to, like an onion, just a layer after layer, unravel. The Arkansas Democrat-Gazette had some great insight today from the transcripts that were released by the judge. What was your takeaway from what we now know were some apparent conversations between lobbyists and elected officials?
Yes, these are transcripts of exchanges between corrupt persons. Some conversation between two people now in jail. I have to tell you, the thing I'm most struck by is the lack of articulation among these people. I believe it was Cranford sitting at the steakhouse with somebody who told him the FBI is after us, and his quote was, "I like to have thrown up." So, you know, there's when he heard that, I like to have thrown up.
Nobody likes to throw up,
really. What does that mean? I like to have thrown up. But this was, and also just I put on the social media, I'm trying not to laugh because this is a horrible thing, but some of these exchanges were so petty. And hey, I need $30,000 by the end of the day. I've given you more than that, and I'm not going to give you any more. And you know, this is happening at the Capitol Hill building, a few yards from where we're making our laws. What a horrible culture, a subculture. Let's hope, and I think so, of the legislature, but incredible pettiness. And there's another thing. When you see somebody walking around and you can't figure out where they're getting their money, be suspicious. Be suspicious.
A good rule of thumb.
Good rule of thumb. Not to prejudge, just keep suspicions alert.
Where did baby get those new shoes?
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I will say this. I mean, in the transcripts they released, it's mostly people that have admitted to their crimes or in jail right now. Yeah, there were a couple of new names that were floated out there, and I don't want to drag them in there with.
See, they got to be careful. Innocent, but there's some people really implicated who are of some prominence, but you know, these are bad people talking about them, so you don't want to make too much of that. But yeah, we had some really petty, bad people, and these transcripts show that they're where they need to be. And
that there may be some more shoes to drop.
Possibly.
All right, let's turn our attention to an interview that I did with Asa Hutchinson over the weekend.
Right here.
That you found as fascinating as I did, because here on one hand, he wants to definitely do something about the gun violence in terms of the white supremacy groups, the hate that is driving some of that, but actually zero budge on gun control.
You know, there's a narrative developing with me and liberal reading base and Asa. I've called myself sort of the Asa whisperer. I think I can see inside him, and I think there's a moderate in there, and it comes out from time to time. And when he's being right wing, he's only doing so because he has to. Possibly because if he wants to run again, or in case John Bozeman should decide to retire, and Asa would go for the Senate running in rural Arkansas for the U.S. Senate, he is not going to give an inch on guns because he's got to appeal to the rural gun culture. The other possibility is that I'm wrong, that he's just the same right-winger we always thought he was, who occasionally sometimes has a little hiccup and does a moderate thing. But your interview, and it was fascinating, because he speaks with some compassion and command, having been a former U.S. attorney and a deputy director of Homeland Security, about the white supremacist, and he says the right things about that, and the hate crime law is something that we need. But you get him on something not really that horribly controversial, such as a red flag law. And I wrote Sunday, I mean, he gives some legal arguments against a red flag law, but then I asked him, well, will you take the lead in trying to resolve that and make it an administration bill? I thought he was going to come out of a chair. What? Me? Make that an administration bill? No, I mean, he's passive on that. And then you ask him about every gun restrictive legislation in sight, and he's against all of them. And on the issue of background checks, you use the phrase universal mandatory background checks. Well, he'll, okay, universal mandatory. I could watch his mind working. I got that. Well, if you talk about that, then if a neighbor wants to sell a gun to a neighbor, they've got to go through all this background check. We can't have universal mandatory background checks. As I understand the Toomey Manchin bill, which is the one thing that has a chance in the U.S. Senate, they've now amended personal relationships, friendships, and kinfolk up to cousin level from that requirement. In other words, you got to do paperwork if you sell a car to them, but you can sell them a semi-automatic weapon and they can't be bothered. He relied on that, sort of kill that straw man. My judgment on the Twitter, which I'll repeat here, is that he's just scared. He's just scared of the rural gun culture, less than the NRA, maybe scared of them, but they're kind of in an administrative mess. I think he's just afraid to cross them by indicating anything that suggests a concession. There's that. The other possibility is that he's just right-wing on guns. So,
yeah, and he has had an affiliation with the NRA for a long time.
He was their hired man after Sandy Hook, so don't forget that.
Right, and I do think too, I mean, because I threw the question of open carry out there to him as well, and he believed that would be a deterrent for people. If there are more people with guns in public places, that would definitely...
Didn't he answer that in the context? See, he answered that in the context of, well, there was a security guard who was at the, not a Walmart security guard in El Paso, but a person who was a security guard who he wished he would have had his gun there. And then he made some quick aside about training. You know, his report after Sandy Hook for the NRA was let's arm the teachers and let's arm school personnel, but only with training. His reaction to the NRA bill for guns everywhere in Arkansas was, yeah, but with more hours of training. So he relies on that, but he doesn't want to even hint that if you want to carry your gun openly in Arkansas, Ace Hutchinson has a problem with it. He doesn't want it. He will say, well, we need training. You know, if you want an enhanced carry, maybe you need to sit through 30 more minutes of class or whatever. Yeah. But he's not going to cross that culture. And, you know, in the current Arkansas political culture, dominated by rural conservative vote, well, not dominated, but heavily influenced by that, particularly for a Republican, it's either his true convictions or political necessity or both.
Yeah.
So, and that's the best I can do.
It's an interesting interview. And I was actually glad that he gave me as much time as he did to go down.
Did you go the whole half hour?
It was almost a whole half hour. It was a 25-minute interview. So it was,
you were
on that stuff,
you were still on the white supremacy and hadn't gotten to the guns yet. And I thought that'll be the end of that. But it was good. Very good.
All right. Lastly,
kind of thing we should do.
Yes. Lastly, casinos. We're going to be hearing a whole lot about them this week. So in Pope County, as you and I sit down, we are approaching a deadline for casino proposals to be given to the Pope County Quorum Court. They will meet on Tuesday night to pick one. 2 of the 5 casino operators say it's already a done deal that the Cherokee Nation is going to get it in combination with Jerry Jones Legends entertainment venue. And then Thursday, the Racing Commission meets. My prediction, you argue with me on this one if you believe differently. Litigation is what I see in the crystal ball coming here. This is going to get legally very complicated.
I think so. I mean, by that I assume you mean just one lawsuit maybe could handle, but there may be crossfires here and back and forth.
You've got one casino proposal that's already appealing their rejection by the commission, which is going to happen on Thursday, and now you got these other 2 that say the fix is in.
Big picture stuff here, incredible change of mood up there. Pope County had this, Pope County voted against the casino amendment that authorized it. They had a local group that got passed this legally dubious referendum. It's not in the state amendment that the public has to vote on this. That was all the rage 6-8 months ago. Mm-hmm. Now they're telling me that the quorum court and county judge are going to do they're telling me they're going to do this thing Tuesday night, probably ignore this public vote. That's not even an issue anymore. Then you've got every well-connected leading political lobbying consulting group involved in one side or the other. Then you've got, I literally, in reading the Democrat Gazette piece Sunday, which I thought was a good piece, I couldn't have imagined another way to write it. I was drawing a diagram to try to figure out who is who. Who's got the hard rock, who's with Jerry Jones and Steinbrenner's outfit. But the final thing is, you and I spend a lot of time going up and down that road from Little Rock to Northwest Arkansas. That's where most of the commerce and political activity. That's you got business up there, and I go make talks up there a lot. Russellville is a stopping off place already. couple of good burger places there. This could be a thing.
Yeah.
Arkansas River Valley thing, it really could, and the stakes thus.
It's in a sweet spot, is what you're saying.
It's a sweet spot, and maybe that was going to be the case all along. With all the talk about it, if you got a chance to create an entertainment venue and a tourist attraction right there in a place where there's heavy cross-country, cross-state, Little Rock to Northwest Arkansas traffic, I'm stopping there every time I go for a burger. Well, I'm not going to stop for a casino. I mean, I'm not. But there might be something spring up around it, you know?
Bruce Springsteen might come to play at the entertainment complex there.
If he does that, I'm done with him.
Oh, really?
Right.
You're not going to Las Vegas to see Bruce Springsteen?
He's not going to play there.
But if he did, you would go.
Well, no, you might get Celine Dion or somebody like that. You're not going to get a rocker and a great poet like Bruce Springsteen to play a casino venue. Famous last words.
Yes. But, I'm writing this down right now. So
write it down. But I'm just telling you, obviously, in the end, this is going to be high stakes, high political stakes, legal fight, a lot of money, a lot of big political operators involved. This local resistance has weakened. The political activity becomes curious, like is it a pre-made decision and people get mad? All suggesting what probably was inevitably the truth all along. This is a big deal, potentially, for the Arkansas River Valley hub, which already may be Russellville and is going to become Russellville with this, and Pope County. This is actually outside Russellville.
I believe so.
But it's all going to be one megaplex.
I think that'd be a great political story to write after some of the dust settles and we see what went on behind the scenes and how those machinations worked.
Yeah, but you got to have a good graphic artist to do the charts. The words will get complicated, no matter how clear we are.
All right, it's John Brummett with the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Good stuff. We had a busy week.
Going to be a busy week.
Yes.
By the time people hear this, maybe 3 or 4 steps down the road in the Casino Royale. Battle Royale.
I knew you would work that in there.
Well, it just happened, and I'm sorry. It was too easy.
Reference. Right. That is all for today's program. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
You'll find us at the end of a lot of long country roads, covering over 60% of the great state of Arkansas. Our 17 electric distribution cooperatives are working day and night to provide reliable, affordable power to over 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses, just like yours. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, your local energy partners.